Let's welcome back to a brand new episode of the toonTALK podcast brought to you by Magpie 24/7. Today, this is a very special episode because we have a World Cup episode for you. The World Cup is about to kick off this very week. And joining me today to talk a bit more about the World Cup is Jay. How are you doing, Jay?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm very good as well. Really excited to get into this tournament. We are predicting the entire thing, so the group stages and then the brackets afterwards. You will be able to see our personal predictions right underneath our webcam. So I suggest, without any further ado, the first question I wanted to ask you is how excited are you for this World Cup?
I think I'm pretty excited. So, in my opinion, the hype is not that big.
Mm-hmm.
For me, in my feeling in Germany, it's not that big like it was in back in 2014 or 2010. Maybe it is because we were younger and even more excited in our summer holidays to watch football every day. But I'm pretty excited to see how all the teams perform at the World Cup.
Yeah, well, it's the same for me actually. When I was a bit younger, I was probably a bit more excited to support the teams. Now I'm actually
Yeah.
really excited to see what these teams that I don't know that much about are able to bring to the table. So I suggest, without any further ado, we get straight into the predictions because that will just give us a very nice gateway into talking about all of these different teams. Starting things off with Group A. So this is a group containing Mexico, South Africa, Korea, and the Czech Republic. What order have you gone for Group A?
I think it was one of the hardest groups because there's
Mm-hmm.
no real favorite team and no real bad team. Like I think South Africa could be the weakest team of those, but it's not like some other groups where you have the top tier favorite and
Mm-hmm.
like a really bad one. So I would put Mexico as a number one seed.
Mm-hmm.
It's their home World Cup, and in every World Cup that they played at home, were very good. They performed really good. It was really back in the years, but um, let's transfer it to the future.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Mexico will top the group, and Korea or South Korea will take the second place.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So leaving Czechia third and South Africa
Yes.
fourth for you?
Yeah.
All
So
right.
it was a close battle between Korea and
Mm-hmm.
the Czech Republic, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a close call, but Korea will make it
Mm-hmm.
to the
Yeah,
second.
I mean, I can completely understand that it is a close call because I've actually gone for the Czech Republic in second and Korea in third. But as you said, there's not much in between both sides. I do think Mexico look like the strongest team out of the lot. They have some really interesting young players as well. Obed Vargas moved to Atletico Madrid in January. He's a really interesting central midfielder. They've got a 17-year-old Gilberto Mora who plays on the wing and in the number 10 for Club Tijuana, I think it is. And he looks like a really exciting talent as well. But Santiago Jimenez up front for them is coming off a 0-goal season for AC. So it is a bit of a struggle in terms of goals for them, but I do think being backed by their home crowd will get them in at first. And then the main reason I've gone for the Czech Republic in second is because I think they will be still running on a high because of qualifying so late for the tournament with the qualifiers all the way back in March or very recently in March. Uh, and they've also got a very interesting team. I don't think there's that much between the teams of Czechia and the Korean Republic. Korea also have interesting players like Kang In Lee, for example, who I think is primed and ready for a move away from Paris Saint-Germain because he just simply won't be as important a player as I think he could be elsewhere. And for South Africa, I mean, they've got a fun coach if you're like me from Belgium, Hugo Broos, but other than that, I think they might really struggle in this tournament. All right, shall I take it away for Group B then? Group B
Yeah,
has
let's
got.
go over. So otherwise, we would talk about an hour for every
I
group.
think
So
so too. Yeah, I think so
if we
too.
dig too deep,
So Group B has got Canada, Bosnia, Qatar, and Switzerland. I've gone for Switzerland to top the group. We all know Switzerland performed quite well at World Cups. They've got a really interesting team with very well-known names such as Breel and Bolo and Granit Xhaka still in this squad. Then I've gone for one of the other hosts in at the second place, which is Canada. Again, the second and third team could be swapped around in this group. I've gone for Bosnia in third and Qatar in fourth. Not much between the two sides, but I do think the fact that Canada will be playing at home will help them a lot. The fact that Canada have a really good coach, in my opinion, in Jesse March will also help them. And I think Bosnia, they still are relying on Edin Dzeko to score the goals for them, which, I mean, he's an absolute legend, don't get me wrong, but at some point, surely you need a little bit more. They do have some exciting young talent out on the wings. Bajak Tirovic, for example, from PSV. They've also got a winger from Leverkusen, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, a very young kid, but yeah, I've gone for them in third. How about you?
Yeah, like you said, you can switch them up. I got Switzerland in first place, Bosnia in second, Canada third, and Qatar obviously as the fourth spot.
All right.
It was the same like Group A, like you said, Bosnia and Canada are very comparable, or it's like a very close call. And I just saw the qualifying run from Bosnia, so it was really exciting for them. It was a really close call in the end. I think it
Yeah.
was like penalty shootout or extra time. I don't know, but
Yeah, I think it
they
was a
were,
penalty shootout. Yeah, you're right.
yeah. I just
Against
saw
Italy.
Some Bosnian friends. They were really excited about this run, and I saw them screaming at their TVs. And I think it's a nation with a big part of proudness and like a big of type of team effort. And yeah, Canada does rely on some big players like Alphonso Davies or Jonathan David, but we all saw Davis' season in Germany wasn't the best for Munich. He was injured, and
The same
he
could be
came
said
back
for Jonathan
and
David in Italy.
injured again. Yeah, same for Jonathan
Mm,
David. So I think they rely really strong on those players, and maybe Bosnia can top it
yeah.
just through their team effort. And Switzerland, not forget, with Gregor Kobel, one of the top goalkeepers of the tournament at the moment. So yeah, I think there will no doubt to be that they be number one seed.
Yeah, I do tend to agree. I think they are the strongest squad in there. I could also, I mean, I'm going to stick with my prediction, but if this wasn't a game in which we were going to stick with the predictions, I could be swayed to putting Bosnia second because they, as you said, the game against Italy, they were really good. I really like the way they defended. A defender like, for example, we talked about him last week, me and Paul did, or 2 weeks ago at this point. Mukhtar Ahemovic from Sassuolo. He's been linked with clubs like Inter and Juventus. He's still a very young defender as well, so that's one to keep an eye out for as well. But I've gone for Canada in second, mainly because I think even if Jonathan David isn't in any sort of form, really, Kyle Larin is coming off a pretty strong 6 months out on loan for Southampton in the second tier, which does count for something, so they might have some goals in there. And again, those host nations always do tend to do something at World Cup, so I've gone for them in second. Over to you then, I suppose, for Group C. Brazil,
Yeah,
Morocco, Haiti, and Scotland. How have you ordered those teams around?
yeah, that's the perfect opposite for like Group A and Group B. So we have this top tier team and this very bad team, I would say. So we have Brazil in the number one spot. We have Haiti in the fourth seat. So I think everyone could be agree maybe. And then we have Morocco and Scotland. I saw some predictions where people put Morocco up front and on the number one spot and claiming Brazil on the second.
Yeah.
But I will say Brazil could take the number one spot. Morocco will take the second, and Scotland will maybe qualify through the third place.
Yeah. Well, starting from the bottom of that group, that first game is such a big game for Scotland, for the Scottish fans, because that first game is against Haiti, and if you don't win that one, if you manage to squander and maybe draw against them. And let's not forget, this is a Haiti team that won 4-0 against New Zealand in a friendly only a couple of days ago. So they clearly do have something in this team. But I do think Scotland will get it done and get third place. I've actually done the Morocco in at number 1 and Brazil in at number 2 thing.
Yeah,
Now,
I knew you would do this because you watched all of the African Nations Cup.
yeah, I did. And I mean, this Morocco team is absolutely brilliant. We can, of course, talk about the controversy in the final of the Africa Cup of Nations and the fact that maybe for the first World Cup ever, in some people's minds, we have two African champions competing in this tournament, which is a bit of a weird thing to be happening. But this Morocco team is genuinely world class. You've got players like Brahim Diaz, you've got Hakimi, the ones who everybody knows about, but then you've got some hidden gems as well in there. Ayoub Boadi is a name you have to keep in mind. He's an 18-year-old midfielder who just switched allegiances from France to Morocco. He plays for Lille. He is brilliant. One of those players that glides through the midfield. He's actually really physical as well, especially for his age. I really like him. They've got fullbacks coming out of their ears. I mean, they have the luxury to leave fullbacks like El Halil at Espanyol at home, for example. They brought El Wadi, someone who I'd like Newcastle to be interested in over the summer. He's a flying wingback as well. I really like this Morocco team, and even more so, I think this Brazil team has some really striking weaknesses in there. Mainly at fullback, because it looks like their starting fullbacks might well be Wesley from Roma and Alexandro, who already plays back in Brazil. And and this pains me to say as a Newcastle fan, on the Newcastle podcast as well, but the midfield of Brazil really worries me as well. Because it looks like Bruno's partners are going to be Paqueta and Casemiro, or Danilo, who is the ex-Nottingham Forest midfielder who went back to Brazil. And Brazil also play with a number 10, so it means it's probably going to be a double pivot. I have my worries about that when it comes to Brazil. I do think they will wipe the floor with Haiti. I do think they beat Scotland, but I genuinely believe Morocco might have too much for them.
Yeah, could be, definitely.
All right.
I would agree with that analysis.
Is there any other player you'd like to flag from Group C? Any other player you're looking forward to, for example? Because then we can move on to D.
Yeah, I think for Scotland it would be Scott McTominay, of course. I think many are much relies on his shoulders in this team. Yeah, you named all the Moroccan and Brazil players. I do agree with the Brazil take with their midfield, but I think with Carlo Ancelotti, they have one of the best coaches in the tournament.
Yeah.
And let's see if he can do the magic with them.
Yeah.
And
the
if
magic
he can,
eyebrow.
yeah, if he can manage this team, and if he can manage it well, and yeah, do some magic, and there are enough players that can do some magic.
Yeah.
They are a real contender with all their names in the squad, but they have to work together like always. And there will be the question mark.
Yeah, who would you start up front for Brazil? Because obviously João Pedro has been left at home. So would it be Cunha or would it be Igor Thiago for you?
I think it depends a bit on the play style. With Cunha, you get a more, false nine, or a more creative forward, and with Igor Thiago, you just get the strength and the finishing power. So either side, they are good strikers, not the best in the tournament, but I think I would go with Igor Thiago and feed him with all these creative players like Paqueta, like Bruno behind him, and I think that would be my way to go.
I tend to agree. I doubt Ancelotti would do it, but I think Igor Thiago, a Belgian journalist called Philippe Joos, made a really great comparison in my opinion. He said that Igor Thiago reminds him of Christian Benteke, because when he played up front, he also had first of all, obviously the finishing instincts, but he was also always looking to flick on balls towards his teammates to win headers and duels, but keep the ball close to him. And I think the Brazilian attackers, like you said, might genuinely really benefit from that. Because could you imagine Vinicius Jr., Rafinha, all benefiting from someone who actually gives them something to work with up front if you're just planning on playing it long for once, for a change? I think that could be really exciting. All right, Group D. This group contains the last one of the hosts, the USA, Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. Is it my turn to go first? I think so, right?
Yeah, it is.
I have gone for Turkey in first. I think they are simply too strong because of players like Guler and Kenan Yildiz. I've I do have America in second. They seem to be a lot of people's favorite choice to be the flop of the tournament, but I do think that's a bit too. People want that a little bit too much, I think, is why everybody is predicting that. But Pochettino is, at the end of the day, a really great coach, and they do have a lot of pretty good attackers. I mean, Balogun, Pulisic, or Pulisic, Timothy Weah even, West McKennie is coming off of a good season. I've gone it with Paraguay in third, but I think they draw their match with Australia, so Australia in fourth, but interchangeable in between or amongst them, and probably neither of those teams making it to the next round. How about you?
So I match you up with Turkey in the first spot.
Okay.
So they are definitely from the names and also from the team spirit, and as what we saw with the qualifying run, I think it's the most complete team in this group and
Yeah.
the most advanced team in this group. But the rest, I totally mix it up prior to your
All right. That makes it interesting. Let me hear.
prediction. Yeah, I don't ask me. I think I have to say it for all of our predictions in these groups and so on. I think it's always a mix of maybe knowledge and a much more of a gut feeling, and it's not our first World Cup and not our first Euros. We always see top teams struggle. We see surprises with like low budget teams winning a group or coming through or getting through. So I just put Australia on the second spot.
Okay,
And
Australia.
I put the Paraguay team on the third spot.
You've
And
put America fourth
and
at their
it's
own
not
World Cup.
it has nothing to do with any part of USA hate or something like that. I just have the gut feeling that the United States are, if you look back, they are historically performing very bad in World Cups. And I don't know, their qualifying run wasn't the best, I think, when I remember it right. They're
I mean,
like they played good versus Germany yesterday. Yesterday? Yeah, I think
yeah.
so. But yeah, Germany also played not really good. But I
I
have
mean,
the feeling
neither
that
did
it's the
England, so you didn't miss anything there either, to be fair.
yeah, correct. And I don't know. I have the feeling that the USA will say goodbye in the group phase, and they will be the flop, one of the flops of the tournament,
Fair
and
enough.
Australia maybe one of the surprises.
All right, absolutely. I mean,
That's how I
Australia
feel.
did it last tournament. They got out of the group, so you absolutely might be right here. Yeah, fair enough. One question I did wanted to ask you was, could you talk to me a little bit about Can Uzun for Turkey? Because he's one of those players that I really like in this Turkish squad. The Eintracht Frankfurt false nine / number 10.
Yeah, I think he's a really good footballer. I think the stats prove him in this season. If I remember it right, it might be about around 20 games. I think he was injured for a short time and scored about 7, 8, 9 goals. Did some assists, and he was one of the shooting stars for Frankfurt season. And Frankfurt played a really bad season. But yeah, I think he could be one of the main men also for the Turkish squad. And yeah, we shouldn't forget players like Yilmaz and
Yeah.
Yildiz.
hmm
I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah,
safe number one spot.
yeah, I
And
agree. I agree.
I'm really afraid of all these Turkish people here partying at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I remember. It was the last Euros. I came to Düsseldorf to watch. I think it was England Switzerland in the quarterfinals or the round of 16 or whatever. And
Yeah,
afterwards, the game right after, it was the Netherlands playing Turkey. And whilst we were watching England Switzerland, it was kind of 50-50 divided between the fans in the fan zone, and everybody was getting along nicely, and it was really, really nice. But the fan zone was a bit lower down, so you had to go up the stairs if you wanted to go back to the main street. We went up those stairs after the game, and as far as you could look, there were Turkish fans everywhere, everywhere. They just all kind of spawned out of nowhere. And the crazy thing was, we left to go back to the car because we had to drive all the way back to Belgium, and that takes quite a while. So we wanted to leave a bit earlier. And Turkey got 1-0 in front, but when they did, we were already way gone from where we were watching the game and where we saw all those Turkey fans. But we heard the roar throughout the entirety of the city. It was unbelievable. Those Turkish
yeah,
fans are insane, and I'm really looking forward to their team, to their games, to their support. I love those kind of things.
and those fans, they love their, I don't know the English word, but after the game when they win, they all go into their cars and driving around the city honking, like with 100, 200, 500 cars. It depends on the size of the city. So we are living here in, it's about 80,000, 100,000 people, I think.
Mm.
And it's crazy even here. So you can't imagine what it's like to be in Cologne or, like you said, Dusseldorf or
Yeah.
Duisburg or all these hotspots here in North Rhine-Westphalia.
Mm.
It's crazy. And normally it's like 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 11 p.m., but now it's 4 a.m. kickoff, so 6 a.m. working traffic, and they are blocking all the roads in all these big cities. It will be crazy, I think.
Yeah,
So
it is. I mean,
you should be afraid if you're living there.
yeah, absolutely. The same thing happens in Belgium when Morocco win games. You hear them celebrating on the streets throughout the entire night. It is really fun. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a
it
great
really is.
atmosphere. I suggest we move on to Group E because this is a really interesting group indeed. I am buzzing to hear your thoughts on this one. It is Germany, Curaçao, Ivory Coast, or Côte d'Ivoire, and Ecuador. What do you think?
On the paper, all these German journalists said we have one of the easiest groups. So from the names, like Curacao is nothing,
Mm-hmm.
nothing if we are honest,
Mm-hmm.
and
You're right.
Ecuador and Cote d'Ivoire, they are they are they have some really good players. Like I think Ecuador should be Pacho from
Mm-hmm.
Paris Saint-Germain,
Yeah.
and
Hincapié,
Hincapié, and who is it from Chelsea? How is he called? The
Caicedo.
midfield? Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. So
No
they have
worries.
some really big names, but
Mm.
as always, it depends on how the team performs and
Yeah.
how all the other, in this case, 8 players, how good are they? So I
Mm-hmm.
would say even if Germany has a bad, I think like some bad friendlies or not that good friendly, not that convincing. What we saw, I think they
Mm-hmm.
will top the group. I think it's not a miracle, but yeah, it like always, it depends on so many factors. Like who has the opening game? No one wants to lose the opening game. So it's always about the question: who do you play in your opening game? How can you perform in this game? It always relies then to all the other games you have, and how much do you need to risk? And there are so many factors. So it's like knowledge and gut feeling, like I mentioned before.
Mm.
And I would say Germany will top the group despite the injury of Lennart Karl, which I
Mm.
think is a big blow
Yeah. I was
because,
going to ask you about that.
yeah, I don't know if Julian Nagelsmann would have played Karl in the starting 11 because he is No one knows why, but he's a big fan of Leroy Sané.
Yeah.
But Leonard Carr, we saw him playing for Bayern Munich, and we also saw him for the national team. And he has this, I don't remember all the English adjective,
Adjectives.
all the English uh, words to describe him, but he's so fast, so agile. He has so many. So if you look him, if you watch him playing, he doesn't really think about what he's doing. He's just doing it. He has no fear. He has no. Yeah, he's not overthinking too many things, and he's just doing. He's just risking everything with the ball on his feet, and that's the yeah this. That's what you need in the team. If you have maybe one or two players like this in your team, it can be such a different. This he plays with so much ease, and yeah, no weight on his shoulders. So that's what it looks like, and I think that could be a really big blow, especially because Leroy Sané now starting, and we or Julian Nagelsmann renamed Ouedraogo from Leipzig,
Yeah, I saw.
who's more a bit of a defensive midfielder, sometimes played on the wing for Leipzig, but he was injured nearly the whole season, I think.
As he usually is, unfortunately,
So
because I do think he is talented.
yeah, he's really good, and I think if you look back, he was in the youth under 17s, and he won the World Cup and the Euros, I think, with Germany, something like
Okay.
that, as a captain of the team. So yeah,
Okay.
he is really talented
Yeah.
and he's a really good player, but so there's a right midfielder or a right winger injured going home, and you have some players like Adeyemi who can play this position, and or even like Said El Mala from
Yeah,
Cologne.
I could not
You
understand why he isn't on the plane.
yeah, and the Germans are the biggest critics of themselves and of other Germans. So it's like a sport here in Germany to use or yeah to
How
swear about
how
Julian
does the
Nagelsmann,
German
and
how does the German media feel about Tuchel being the England boss? I wonder.
if I'm early, I don't think there's any. I didn't see any media talking about this at the
Okay,
moment.
no bad blood. Okay,
So
that's
yeah,
nice.
there were some articles, of course, when he took over, but I can't remember in the last few weeks or even months where I saw many, yeah, like any topic where everyone went on and talked about.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah, it
good.
was
I
talked
think
about
that helps.
who he put in his squad and something, but not really not really a thing here. So like I said,
Okay.
all these Germans always concentrating on what Germany's coach is doing wrong, what the players are doing wrong, and we have like I think it's maybe it's the same in every country, even in England or Belgium, but you always look on your left and right, and
Yeah.
we're always telling that we have 80 million national coaches here, and everyone is right, and everyone
Yeah.
think he's right, and he is the best, and
I mean, I
everyone
imagine
knows
in England
better.
it's the same. In Belgium, there's a bit more of an acceptance that Belgium just isn't very good at this moment in time, I believe.
Yeah, so like I said, here we have 80 million the national coaches. Everyone knows better than the other, and everyone knows better than the national coach itself. Um, we just have to look, and if we go out early, then everyone will say, "Yeah, I told you he's
Yeah.
not the right man," and if we go through, then yeah, then the people are happy, and yeah, what I don't care about what I said yesterday
Yeah.
about Julian Nagelsmann, and
That
yeah,
usually is the way. Yeah. So
it's
you have
it's always the
Germany.
same. So I'm a bit more distant, and I always say, yeah, let's have a look and let's see what we get, how we progress in the tournament, and yeah, I don't like this always knowing better, and
That's very understandable. I think that's a very healthy mindset. So you do have Germany topping
yeah,
your
I have
group.
them top in group, and to get an end for this, I think they can go through quite a while. So I think we will go after the brackets. We will go to the after the group phase. We will
Yeah.
go straight through the other round. So we will see how much they will progress in our predictions. But they have the team to go through, but it depends as always on so many factors, and
Mm.
There is a potential that they go out early, but I think the group phase, it's too early, like we saw in 2022.
Wasn't it 2018 when they defended the World Cup?
Yeah, where no. I mean, when we got knocked out the group phase, was it with
Germany, yeah.
Japan?
The,
Japan and I don't
Spain.
know.
I think,
Yeah,
did Germany get no? Mm, they might have done.
I,
They might have
and,
done. I
yeah,
Did
but
Germany get knocked out of both group stages of both last World Cups? Because I remember
no.
there is a curse about World Cup winners going out of the group stages in the tournament afterwards, and I think France are the most recent World Cup winners to break that curse. But Germany won it in 2014, so that means it would have to be Russia 2018 where you went out of the groups, right?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. So I'm really bad at remembering
No worries.
those things.
Tell us the rest of your group of
Yeah,
your
of
order.
course.
I'll have a look at the 2018 World Cup.
Where is it? Here is it. So I have Ecuador in second place, Cote d'Ivoire in the third place, and Curacao took the last.
Okay, I'm just going to give you my group E. So I've gone a bit differently again. I have obviously gone Curacao in fourth. I have
Yeah.
gone for Ecuador in third, but I do think this group is going to be unbelievably close, including mm, everybody except for Curacao, basically. Because I think Ecuador cannot be slept on. They don't concede any goals whatsoever, because Caicedo, Hincapié, Pacho, but we also have Estupinian, for example, Joel Ordóñez from Club Brugge, who is looking at a 35 million move away this summer. And they also have a lot of pace in the attack as well, with Nilson Angulo, with Ener Valencia, who you might know, still operating with success for Ecuador. But I have gone in for the number 3 spot for them, because I do think their attack is a bit lacking. And I've gone for Germany in second, and Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire in first. And that's not necessarily because I think Germany is going to be bad, but because I am really, really, really hot on Ivory Coast. I think their squad is unbelievable. Jan Diomande, I mean, you as a Bundesliga fan know how unbelievable he is. They've got Amat on the other wing. They've now got the Inter striker Johan Angeboni, who is fast, who is tall, who is strong, who has a great finish on him. They've got defenders such as Wilfried Sinho. They've got a great midfield with Kessié, Seko Fofana, so a lot of physicality in there as well. It's not a fluke that they won 2 days ago against France in a friendly, in my opinion. I believe this Ivory Coast team is unbelievably good. So I've got them topping the group. They as my probably favorite dark horse of the tournament.
Yeah, like I said, you watched the AFCON, you saw all these players playing together, so I know the names, but I can't imagine how good they are, and I don't have all these friendlies and qualification runs in mind. But yeah, there's always a possibility
Yeah.
to happen.
And I mean, I am going for the rogue picks where I see the possibility of them, because it does make the predictions a bit more fun. Otherwise, I mean, there's not really much point to doing this video. But I also just believe the World Cup never, or any football tournament for that matter, never plays out exactly the way we think. So you do have to get one or two crazy, surprising shouts in there somewhere. And listen, chances are I fall flat on my face and Germany just get an easy 9 out of 9 in this group. That could absolutely be the case, because Germany, I'm not blind, Germany have the most talented squad in this group, obviously. But yeah, I'm just really, really hot on Ivory Coast. Alright, let's move on to Group F, because that would mean we are finally halfway through the groups. Making some progress, slowly but steadily. Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. I've gone for pretty much that order. Netherlands in first, Japan in second. I've got Tunisia third and Sweden fourth, but those two for me are interchangeable, because I think they will draw against one another and pretty much lose the other two games. Japan, Netherlands might be a really, really close one. But the strange thing with the Netherlands is that there is this there's this guy who does predictions for the World Cup, and he's predicted the last 3 World Cup winners spot on. And for this World Cup, he's predicted the Netherlands. Now, I would be absolutely stunned if the Netherlands won it, because they don't really have a quality striker. They've got Donny Almala, who ripped the Serie A to shreds since January, but Koeman seems to be adamant he needs to play on the right rather than through the middle. So it will be either Memphis Depay, who is now playing in Brazil for the last 2 years, Wout Weghorst, who is Wout Weghorst, and Brobbey. I mean, not this is the wrong podcast if you want to hear something positive about Brian Brobbey. But this Japan team is pretty interesting as well. They are lacking Mitoma. They haven't brought him, but they still have a lot of quality players in there as well. I just think Netherlands' midfield, which is Frenkie de Jong, Gravenberch, Reinders, better on paper than it is in real life, but still a class midfield, and just a world-class defense. Van Dijk, Van de Ven, Timber, Van Hek. Yeah, they've got Dumfries, who's now joined Real Madrid. They've got defenders coming out of their ears, so that's why I've got them topping the group. And I do think Sweden will massively struggle, draw against Tunisia, and I think Tunisia have a better defense, which means they will lose by a smaller margin against Japan and Netherlands, which is why I've got them in third. How about you?
Group F was one of these groups where I didn't have any clue. I just had a feeling, and I don't know where it leads to, but we will in a few weeks we will know. So I have Japan topping the group.
Okay, I could see that. I could absolutely see that.
And then it might be a bit controversial. I got Sweden on the second spot.
I mean,
the Netherlands.
Everything's possible.
The Netherlands as the third, and Tunisia as last.
Yeah.
But don't really ask me why. I just have the feeling Netherlands always aren't very good performing in World Cups or in tournaments in general. And I just have the feeling that they won't top the group. And then I was unsure about second or third, but I put them third, and maybe they go through the best third places. But yeah, I have the feeling Japan can top the group, of course, because they have they have a strong team and they have a strong unit, I think.
Absolutely.
And they are very disciplined. And yeah. About Tunisia, I think they are on the bad side, but it was like we saw before. It was a group where you really normally you would say the Netherlands are the top team in this group, but what we saw in the past wasn't really convincing for me. So
yeah, you are right there. Absolutely, I do agree with that. I mean, in the last World Cup, the Netherlands did go quite far with a much weaker squad than this is, but again, the World Cup before that one, they underperformed with a better squad. And now I'm not necessarily a big fan of the coach either, so I could absolutely see that happen. As for Sweden, I mean, Graham Potter is half the reason I've got them bottom of the group. I don't think he's trying to do the same thing as Thomas Tuchel is doing with making this his squad and leaving out some big names because they don't fit. But this is Sweden. If you're not bringing Rooney Bargi, who's playing for Barcelona, and you're not bringing Hugo Larsson, who might be the best midfielder at Frankfurt, probably.
Yeah, could be.
Then what are you doing? Why aren't you bringing those players? What is? Yeah, I'm really confused about the Sweden squad. I also just think he will try to cram in both Isak and Gyökeres, which hasn't worked for them in the slightest. Let's not forget Sweden did not win a single game in the qualifying groups. Not a single one.
But they will in the group.
I mean, they very much might. All right. Let's now move on to Group G. We are going to have to speed this up a little bit because we are running out of recording time. Group G has got Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand, and that's exactly how I've got that group finishing. If you think Germany's group is easy, have a load of this one. Belgium is not as strong as they were, especially not in the golden generation of 2018, shall we say. But they do still have some interesting players. One player I did really want to talk about is one I don't necessarily believe any international podcasts will talk about apart from Belgian ones. It's Hans van Aken. Do you know Hans van Aken?
Yeah, I know. I heard the name, of course, but
Okay. Not necessarily too much context, right?
correct.
Well, the thing is, he is turning 34 years old, so he's not necessarily one to watch, but he might very well be the single most influential transfer in Belgian competition, that is Belgian league football history. He is the talismanic figure for Club Brugge. And for to give you a frame of reference, when he joined them, they had 13 titles to their name. This season they won their 20th. So he's got 7 league titles out of 20 for Club Brugge. Throughout those 7, he's been their most important player. And he's actually always had kind of an international career with Belgium. But the problem he faces is he plays in the number 10. So he's got Kevin De Bruyne in front of him. And that obviously means you don't play that much football. But Kevin De Bruyne has had a very injury hit season. Couple of seasons actually. And when Van Aken plays for Belgium, he's just as brilliant as he is for Club Brugge. He is really, really strong. Reads the game like he absolutely magnificently. He has a passing ability that rivals absolutely anyone. The one problem he does really face is that he's incredibly slow, which means he probably doesn't or wasn't he didn't have the capabilities to make a step up, is what I'm trying to say. He had to stay at Club Brugge, in my opinion, to fork out the career that he has forked out for himself, but he's done it. And this World Cup could be the crowning achievement of his career, in my opinion, because he might actually play a really important role for this Belgian side, and his talent, in my opinion, genuinely deserves it. Other than that, look out for players like Joachim Sass, because Newcastle keep on being linked to him, and I really like him. Morera is a really interesting player. Fernandes Pardo recently switched to Belgium. So, interesting team. Other than that, Egypt, you know what you're going to get with Egypt, a team that defends like it's the 1970s all over again. Iran, I actually feel really, really bad for Iran. Today it came out that they are going to have to travel from Mexico to the USA and back to Mexico on the same day every time they are playing to be able to play. And the coach and one of their fitness staff apparently didn't get a visa to go to America either. So genuinely just bullying at this point. I really, really do feel bad for them. And I've got New Zealand in fourth because, like I said before, they lost 4-0 to Haiti. What do you have for this group?
For a moment, I thought it would be the first group that we have predicted the same, but it's nearly the same. It's like Belgium, the first spot for me, Egypt, the second, like you had. I just switched up New Zealand and
Yeah.
Iran. So I have New Zealand in the third spot and Iran in the fourth. So there's nothing really behind it. There's
Yeah.
no argumentation behind it. It's like, yeah, like Iran, they got the war, they got those problems, like you mentioned, with the visa. And
Yeah. You could understand why they'd be distracted. Absolutely.
yeah, I think that they have many things in mind. And it could be that they say, yeah, that's why we will give everything and we will overperform maybe because of those restrictions and all those problems. But it also could be the side that they just don't play really nice football and that they are distracted and something like that. So could be third spot, could be fourth spot. I don't really know, but
Agreed.
that's just what I pick.
Agreed. All right. Group H. Group H has got Spain. I was going to say España and Spain in the same word. So Spain, they've got Cabo Verde, they've got Saudi Arabia, and they have got Uruguay. So I've got. Oh, this is yours to do first. I'm sorry.
No problem. It there's another high chance that we have the same order
I think so.
here
Yeah.
for the first time, but let's have a look. I didn't have any surprises here. I have Spain in the first spot. I think they are one of the best teams in this tournament. Um, depends a bit on maybe Lamine Yamal and how fit and how his injuries um, are going. But they have so many good players and one of the highest title chances, like I saw from Opta Sport, this like percentage of which team can go how far in all these supercomputer animations and
Yeah.
calculations, and I think Spain and France may have the most percentage of going to the final. So they are number one seed for sure. Then I have Uruguay in the second spot. I don't think that they are so strong like they were in their maybe golden generation a few years ago, but still a strong side. And then there could be Cabo Verde and Saudi Arabia in third or fourth. I have Cabo Verde in the third and Saudi Arabia as the fourth spot. And now I'm curious to see if you have the same or if you mix up. I would say if you have mixed something up, then it would be number 3 and number 4.
You're exactly right. I have mixed up number 3 and number 4. I do have Spain in first, Uruguay in second. I have Saudi Arabia in third simply because I do think they have World Cup experience, which Cabo Verde don't. But at the same time, I was looking at this group and I was just getting Costa Rica vibes in 2014 from Cabo Verde whilst you were talking. So I could absolutely see them finishing third and maybe even sneaking away in the next round via that third space.
I think it fully depends on the game between Cabo Verde and Saudi Arabia.
Absolutely.
Who will win this game, I think, will claim the third spot in the group.
It would be interesting for us if, for example, in the game against Saudi Arabia or Cabo Verde, Spain were to play Victor Munoz, because we have been extensively linked with him, so we might actually be able to get a closer look at him, because I'll be honest, I haven't watched that many Osasuna games last season. Yeah, so again, so far, 6 out of... No, not 6. 8 out of 12 groups, and not a single one in which we have got the exact same order. I wonder if that is going to change for Group I. Group I has got France, Senegal, Iraq, and Norway. I've gone for France in first. And I've actually gone for Senegal in second, Norway in third, and Iraq in fourth spot. Let me guess, Senegal and Norway the other way around.
There we have it. Now it's France, Senegal, Norway, Iraq.
You do?
Yeah, it's the ninth group where we got the first
There we
match.
Are. I mean, that is going to make for an interesting reaction afterwards. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I saw many people putting Senegal up top, just because France may be a bit more on defending and playing their Deschamps ball and being safe. And Senegal, I think, they were I just have to remember, Senegal were in the final of the AFCON?
Yeah, along with Morocco.
And won it despite the fact that Morocco got it afterwards.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so they are a pretty strong side, and I saw many people putting them on top and France in the second, especially German guys, because if this is the case and Germany wins their group and France will be second in their group, we won't match them in the quarterfinals or even the round of 16.
Yeah, absolutely.
So many are hoping for France being second, but I think they will top the group with their squad.
I think so too, but I could also see it happen. Have you, by any chance, seen or know what the attack is of Senegal?
Not from mind.
If
you tell me the names, I will.
Yeah, their attack consists of 4 names at this moment in time. They play Nicholas Jackson in the striker role, Sadio Mane off of the left, Ismail Assar off of the right, and Iliman Ndiaye in the number 10. That is a juicy attack. That is an unbelievably class attack. And then they have Lamine Camara, who we have been linked with extensively as well, in the center of the park. They've got El Hadj Malik Diouf in at center back. They've also got a young Paris Saint-Germain winger. They've got the ex-Paris Saint-Germain defender Diallo, the Chelsea defender Sarr. the ex-Chelsea goalkeeper Mendy. They've got an unbelievable squad. So I could absolutely see it. And I've also seen a lot of people tip Norway to be dark horses, but I think as soon as a lot of people start tipping one nation to be dark horses, I think that's when the pressure starts to get to them. Think of Turkey a couple of years ago, those kind of teams.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a rare sight, a group we actually do have in common. How about Group J then? Argentina, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. How have you ordered those 4 teams around?
I put Argentina on the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we are in common with this. And then I have Austria on the second, Algeria third, and Jordan in the fourth.
Well, we've had to wait 8 groups, but now we've got back-to-back the same results. I've got Argentina first, Austria second, Algeria third, and Jordan fourth. Now, Jordan fourth and Argentina first, I don't think are massively controversial shouts.
Yeah.
And again, there's
It's
not...
like many other groups, it's a close call between second and third.
Exactly. But I've gone
in these
mostly
groups.
for Ralf Rangnick, I think, with Austria in second. I'm a really big fan of him. I think he's a fantastic coach. I think this Austria side looked really, really good under him. And they've got some really well-known workhorse types of players. And this Algeria squad is still pretty young as well. Look out for players like Ibrahim Mazza from Bayer Leverkusen, another Frankfurt player, Faris Chaibi. Those kinds of players, they are really, really exciting. All right, Group K, second to last group. We've got Portugal, we've got the Republic or Dr. Congo, we've got Uzbekistan, and we have got Colombia. I have gone for Portugal in first, surprise, surprise. But I've actually gone with Congo in second, Colombia in third, and Uzbekistan in fourth. Now, the main reason for that is just simply this Colombia team. The reason we think this Colombia team is good is because of the flag, not necessarily because of the players they have called up, because James Rodriguez is still their talisman, and he's a free agent as we speak. And not necessarily even just as we speak, he's been a free agent for a while. And they don't have too many great players. I think everybody is looking at Luis Diaz for them to perform, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, maybe Luis Suarez from Sporting Lisbon, but I've also got my doubts about him. Whereas this Congo team, Wissa will probably be a different player playing for them, feel a bit more free. Sadiki is an unbelievable player. I really like Mukau in their midfield as well. Mbemba is an old legend for Newcastle United. They've got a really young, but also a really athletic team. And I actually do think they are the second best team in this group, hence why I've got them in the second spot. How about you?
I just mixed up the second and the third.
Okay,
So
okay.
I put Colombia on the third, on the second, and Congo on the third. Just made out of gut feeling. I just saw the teams. I looked at the names, but yeah, I don't know. I think both could be second, both could be third. Could be another close call here. I think Portugal and Uzbekistan aren't really discussable in their positions. Otherwise, it would be a big surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned a few players. It always depends then on what the coach does, what the players does, how the team performs in their group. So
yeah,
I stick with Colombia second and Congo third, but I wouldn't be mad if I go with your route and switch them up. So
all right.
I would be fine with that too.
Portugal is a team though that does make me pretty sad because the potential there is so unbelievable. They could have a midfield of Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, and João Neves. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it would be definitely one of the best midfields in the whole tournament.
But the one problem is Portugal desperately needed a striker to step up and actually make it a conversation whether or not Cristiano Ronaldo should still be starting for Portugal. But Gonzalo Ramos hasn't really. So Cristiano is just going to start every single game. And the second problem I have with him also ties into that fact. It's the coach, Roberto Martinez. He was the previous Belgium national team coach. Before that, he coached Swansea. That's about his level, in my opinion. I don't think he's a particularly great coach. Um, I think the only real reason Portugal hired him is because they knew he would keep on playing Cristiano Ronaldo, which is fine. But it is also going to hamper Portugal's chances, in my opinion. Especially going into the latter rounds. Not necessarily in the group stages, because of course Ronaldo can still score against Uzbekistan. But will he be able to score?
He will take his free kicks. He will take all the
Yeah,
free kicks
and
could
that's
be taken
exactly
by.
one of those other
I think
things.
he will take the penalties from Fernandes. I think the free kicks will remain with Fernandes, but
Let's hope so,
he will
because
take the.
that's also one of those other things, right? If any decision goes against, for example, Man United, or things don't go well on the pitch, Bruno Fernandes is immediately so angry and so passionate, and it almost feels like he loses that a little bit with Portugal, because he knows that he's not the player everybody's looking at. So
Could be, yeah.
that's also one of the reasons I personally probably, of course, still bring Cristiano, but probably bringing off of the bench for 20
But
minutes in important games, maybe.
I don't want to dig too deep into this, but it could be like a tactical thing where you, as a coach, you say, okay, we take Cristiano Ronaldo on this pitch, we put him there, and all the eyes will be on him, and he has
Yeah,
the mentality and the strength to to
carry
get
that
his
weight.
things done anyways, but he takes the look off of those other players, of the young players who are maybe a bit nervous and don't know what. And it will maybe, even if Cristiano Ronaldo maybe doesn't really improve the team from his footballing abilities nowadays, don't get me wrong, but I just saw some clips from uh, him playing for Al Nassr, and it didn't really look like a former Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah.
But he is mentally strong enough to take all this shitload from the media and all these eyes on him, and he doesn't care. He will make his 3 penalty goals and keep his stats rising. But he takes off all these eyes from all the other players who could be nervous, who could be whatever, and make them to, with this position within the team, makes him make all the. How do I?
Yeah.
I just messed up in my mind. But even without bringing so much footballing ability, please don't get me wrong here, footballing ability into this team, but he makes all the other 10 men better
Yeah.
performing as a group. Maybe.
That could be an
Just
interesting theory. Absolutely something to look out for. They played a friendly yesterday against. Who was it against?
I don't
I
know.
mean, doesn't necessarily matter who it was against. I think it was a team that actually did go to the World Cup. The reason I bring up the game is because right before the halftime break, Rafa Leao was sent off for fighting with someone. And that just looked really embarrassing for all parties involved. I mean, it was against Chile.
Yeah.
It were the Chile players who were actually being really, really dirty, because they were throwing out some horrendous tackles, like Iraq were against Spain, for example, a couple of days ago. But Chile aren't at this World Cup, so that's really nasty if you think about it towards these Portugal players. And Leao was kind of through with it, but then he kind of punched somebody in the throat for 3 or 4 times, so it was a really ugly scene all around. Yeah, strange one. All right, let's move on.
We have to see if, last thing, we have to see if this this send off from Leao maybe goes on to the World Cup, if he gets a
Yeah,
fine or a ban.
yeah, because it is
It
violent conduct,
could,
so he might very much do.
yeah, it could transform, go over to the World Cup, that he maybe misses 1, 2, 3, maybe the matches, or maybe the whole World Cup. At least I don't
Yeah.
know. No one knows what they are making of this decision, but because it was like an international friendly under the FIFA thing, and
Yeah.
then they are able to ban him even for the World Cup, despite the fact that it was a friendly. So
Yeah.
let's see how it turns out. It will affect the chances of Portugal.
Yeah. Let's
if
at the
he
same time
could be
also not
not. But
forget that technically Cristiano Ronaldo should have been banned for the opening game of the World Cup because he received a red card against Ireland, which was a perfectly legitimate red card and it was a straight red, so he had to be suspended. But
yeah,
because Cristiano is Cristiano, his suspension was lifted for the World Cup. All right, let's move on to the last group before we piss off every single Ronaldo fan in the comments. The last group is England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. I've hummed and hawed again about the second and third spots in this group. Panama is fourth, England is first. I've gone with Ghana in second and Croatia in third, simply because I think Antoine Semenyo and Kudus could pull them, not necessarily past Croatia, because I think they might draw against Croatia, but could give them a bigger win against Panama than Croatia win against Panama. So that's ultimately why I have them second, because I do think this Croatia team is also pretty great with players like, I mean, the players everybody knows, but also players like Vuskovic coming through, really exciting players. But Baturina at Como, I really like as well. So yeah, that's my order. What about yours?
we stay with 2 matches. So, like you said, England Panama is nearly secured. So,
Mm,
and what I said before, like the second and third place, not only are these always or often close calls, but um, yes, I think many of those second and third places maybe will just be divided by a few goals, even not
mm-hmm,
only points, but even only goals. So it's really, really close. And I have put up Croatia for the second spot
mm-hmm.
just because of their team spirit and their team effort and their last performances were really good in all these World Cups. Yeah, it was another generation with like the likes of Modric,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so on. But I think they have, like I said, with Bosnia, they have this team spirit, this proudness for the country, and they will leave their heart on the pitch.
Yeah.
And I won't don't want to say that Ghana doesn't do it as well, but Croatia is like a tournament team in the last years
Mm-hmm.
or the
Absolutely.
last decade. So, in my opinion, maybe Croatia second, Ghana third, but
Agreed. All right.
it
That
could be it
means,
could be one or two goals dividing
mm,
them. Just
yeah, yeah, absolutely. That means we have, just like everybody else, 12 teams in this third best place team group, out of which we have to pick the 8 teams with the most points. So for me, that would be Croatia, Colombia, Ecuador, Korea, Algeria, Norway, Scotland, and Bosnia, all making it through barely. And the 4 teams that drop out because of that for me are Iran. I think the distraction will simply be too much. Paraguay, I simply don't think the goals are there in that team, and the same can be said for Tunisia and Saudi Arabia. Those are my 4 teams dropping out as thirds. How about yours?
I struggled a bit because it's yeah. If you look at this table with their 8 teams or 12 teams, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
pick 8, you try to compare them between each other, but
Yeah,
that's the wrong way because you have to
exactly.
compare the groups and who are the opponents in the group and who will make the most points in the group. So there
Mm-hmm.
could be a team with 9 points maybe knocked out or 7 points, and another team with 6 points gets through their
Mm-hmm.
group. So it's a bit hard. I just picked teams out of gut feeling
Fair
and
enough.
names and so on. So I didn't really
Mm-hmm.
went through all the other games. So for me, there are the Netherlands going
Mm-hmm.
through as a third, Algeria, Canada, Norway.
All right.
For me, it's Paraguay,
Okay.
the Czech Republic, Scotland, and Ghana.
All
So for
right.
me, left out are New Zealand,
Mm-hmm.
Cabo Verde,
Mm-hmm.
the Republic of Congo, and
Yeah.
Ivory Coast.
Fair enough. All right, Ivory Coast. That is a very, very big omission. To be fair, I mean,
Good.
could everything could absolutely happen. I suggest from this point onwards, instead of going fixture by fixture, we do round by round. So, you tell me all of your round of 32 fixtures and the teams that go through in those fixtures.
Yeah. So I will take fixture and who go through, fixture who go through, and
Exactly.
so on.
Perfect.
So my first game in the top of the bracket will be Germany versus Paraguay,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Germany will go through.
All right.
So should I do all of these, or
Yeah.
should we change
Go
up?
go for all of them.
Okay. So the second one will be France versus the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
I think there could be an interesting game, but I think France will do it
Mm-hmm.
in on every day.
Yeah. They
The
they
third one
should.
is Korea. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
sorry. Do you want to say something for this
No, no,
game?
no, no. I was agreeing with you. They
Uh,
should do the Netherlands. Absolutely.
yeah, I think there's no chance that the Netherlands will win against France.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is South Korea versus Bosnia. I think could be a close call game, but I think South Korea will do it. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's the last dance of
You mean?
Wang Ming Son, yeah,
Yes.
and they have like the lead from Paris and the lead from Mainz 05. I don't know if
Mm.
those are brothers, but they're both creative midfielders, and I
Mm-hmm.
think they have the better team for this matchup.
Okay.
Then I have Japan versus Morocco.
Ooh.
Also a quite interesting game, but I think Morocco, they have this way stronger team, and they have this spirit, this effort, and this.
Mm-hmm.
I think they will go through that one, and it will be the end of Japan for this tournament.
Mm.
I have Colombia and Croatia, and I just picked a surprise here, where Colombia knocks out Croatia. Don't ask me
Ooh.
why. Don't
That is
ask
a
me
fun
why,
one,
but
to be fair.
I think it could happen, maybe, but otherwise, the next game would be Spain versus Austria, where Spain will go through, and I don't want to reach too far, but it doesn't matter if Colombia or Croatia goes through because they have to play Spain
Mm-hmm.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Then we have too many games.
Yeah, it's a round of
Where am
32.
I?
It's 16 games, right?
So Spain, Austria, I had this one. Spain will
Mm-hmm.
go through. Then we have Turkey versus Canada, and Turkey will knock out the home team.
Okay. I can see that.
Then we have your Belgians versus the Czech Republic, and I
Mm-hmm.
stay with your Belgians, and they will go through versus the Czech Republic because I think I don't want to say too much to every team, but the Czech Republic really relies on Patrick Schick, and
Mm-hmm.
he had a really good run to the end of the season with Leverkusen, but I don't think that it will be enough as a
Mm-hmm.
team to step up through the round of 32. We have Brazil versus Sweden, and Brazil will do it.
Mm-hmm.
We have Ecuador versus Senegal, and I think that will be Senegal's game to win. The next one is Mexico versus Scotland. I think Mexico will be the only home team going to the round of 16
Mm-hmm.
and knock out Scotland because I had USA as group fourth and
Yeah.
Canada knocked out before. We have England versus Norway. I think there will be a close, not that close one, but I think England will do it.
Mm-hmm.
We have Argentina versus Uruguay. That will be a South American
Mm-hmm.
duel or matchup, but I think Argentina will do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Australia versus Egypt. I think Egypt will go through here. And now we have two left. Wow, it's
Yeah.
a long list.
Yeah.
Switzerland versus Algeria. I think Switzerland will go one round further
Mm-hmm.
and win it. And Portugal versus Ghana will be a Portugal win.
All right. Very interesting. Okay, I think I would have gone for mostly the same results as you there. For me, the round of 32 starts in Boston with Ivory Coast playing Korea. I think Ivory Coast advance against Korea. France plays Scotland. I'm saying France win against Scotland. I'm saying Canada win against Czechia in their game. Then there is a game. I've got the Netherlands facing off against Brazil. Now this is a really interesting matchup in my opinion, and I'm actually going to give it to the Netherlands. I simply can't see Brazil scoring more than one goal against this Netherlands team.
Round of 32 knockout
Round of
Brazil is
32, I think
also a very hot take.
it has to be the earliest Brazil has been knocked out of a World Cup, right? Because this is the first
Yeah,
time
it
there
could be.
is a round of 32 in the first place, and I doubt they will
But I
ever
love these
have
hot
gone out
takes.
of the
It's nice.
groups. It's a very hot
We
take,
need
a very
we
hot
need to
take.
do these calls to maybe be right, and
Exactly. We'll see in a month's
otherwise it would
time.
be boring.
For my next game, I've got Congo playing Ghana, and I'm actually going to back Congo here. I'm going to say Dr. Congo. I know, by the way, it
Lisa
is
will do it.
the Republic of Congo. Yeah, I'm saying Wissa 1-0 against Ghana. The next game is also a pretty interesting one, in my opinion. I think you have the same one, Spain against Austria. I'm going for Spain as well. I've got Turkey playing Bosnia, which is a pretty fun game, but Turkey will go through. I've got Belgium playing Norway, and I'm actually backing Norway here. I think by far and away Belgium's weakest area is the defense. So if you have a weak defense and you've got to defend against players like Ødegaard, Söderlund, Haaland, Nusa, it's going to be a very long day. Even Oscar Bob is a really good player. My next game is Morocco. They play Japan. I'm saying Morocco win that one, but that is a really close game as well. Germany face off against Senegal. I do have Germany progressing against Senegal in a very, very tight game. This one might even go to penalties because, like we discussed, Senegal are really, really good. Mexico lose to Ecuador because I really back Ecuador's defense. England face Colombia, and I think they should absolutely have enough to beat this Colombia team. So England go through as well. Argentina, Uruguay, just like you do. I would love it if this was a fixture because it is. I mean, do you know by any chance who Uruguay's manager is?
Not really.
It is Marcelo Bielsa.
Yeah. I read about it.
So that is going to be an absolute cracker as well if they can face Argentina, one of the most played fixtures in World Cup history as well. Then in Dallas, I have the US facing off against Egypt. I have America progressing against Egypt. And as my two last games for the round of 32, I have Switzerland beating Algeria and I have Portugal beating Croatia. All right. So that brings us to a very interesting round of 16. I suggest I will do mine first, and if you hear a result you'd like to hear clarified, then stop me and I'll do the same for you. So, round of 16. Starting off, my first fixture is Ivory Coast versus France. Now, this is a fixture I look forward to very much. But because Ivory Coast already won a game against France right before the World Cup, I think France will know what they're up against and will have just enough to go through to the quarterfinals. My next round of 16 game is Canada facing off against the Netherlands, which is a very winnable game for the Netherlands. So the Netherlands move on to the next round. Then Congo facing off against Spain, a game I pretty much look forward to, but Spain do seem like a very, very strong team and a way stronger opponent than Congo, so I do have them going through as well. I have Turkey facing Norway, which is a very close game, but I'm also going to back Norway in this tie, a fixture between two teams who often get called dark horses. I've got Morocco facing Germany, which is a really, really interesting game. And I actually have Morocco progressing in this game as well. I think Morocco will be a force to be reckoned with at this World Cup. And I also think after what has happened at the Africa Cup of Nations and the fact that nobody really wants to acknowledge them as African champions means they will have a motivation to do even better than the semi-finals they reached at the last World Cup. So I've got them beating Germany. I have Ecuador, England in the next round, or in the next game, where I said that England would win, but this could absolutely be one of those 1-0 wins, a very, very ugly affair. I've got Argentina facing off against host USA with coach Mauricio Pochettino, so another Argentinian coach who I'm saying gets knocked out by Argentina. And then for the last game in the round of 16, I've got Switzerland facing off against Portugal. And I'm actually calling this a Switzerland win. I'm saying Roberto Martinez's ignorance and stubbornness does Portugal dirty, shall we say? And I'm saying in extra time, Switzerland through Breel and Bolo beat Portugal to go to a quarterfinal of the World Cup. What do you think?
I wouldn't disagree with most of the calls. I think the German versus Morocco one is pretty accurate, and I will go through that with my prediction because I will say, okay, let's start with my prediction, and then I
Sure.
will prove my point.
Yeah.
So I will start from the bottom to the top because I have also Portugal versus Switzerland
Okay.
as my last game here. And contrary to you, I would say Portugal will go through there and the Switzerland miracle will end here. I have Argentina versus Egypt. Also quite interesting game, but I think it should be a safe call for Argentina to go through. We have England facing the hosts of Mexico in the Mexico City Stadium, like a home game for them. But I think England will be too strong for Mexico. I have Brazil versus Senegal, and that will be for me another Brazil win.
Ooh,
So for me, they go through the round of 16 into the quarterfinal. Sorry?
That's a really fun game. Brazil Senegal. I would really look forward to that.
Could be, yeah. And I think Brazil will go through this, but I also agree with your point that they maybe go out against who was it?
Morocco, I think it was.
Yeah, so no, Morocco was Germany,
it
I
was
think.
the Netherlands. It was the Netherlands that
Yeah.
knocked out Brazil for me.
So I knocked out the Netherlands way earlier, but if they go through, it could be definitely. I wouldn't disagree with your call, but I think the Senegal isn't strong enough for Brazil in this game. I have Turkey versus Belgium, and I think the Turkish dream will live on into the quarterfinal.
I could see that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
I don't want to make
absolutely. I
enemies
mean,
here.
Arda Güler, Kenan Yildiz, if those kind of attackers come against a defense that consists of Brendan Mechelen, with all due respect, of course, to Brendan Mechelen, and Arthur Theat, who you know, I mean, a lot of Frankfurt season can probably be put onto his shoulders, and a lot of other
Yeah,
Frankfurt
he's a great
defenders.
defender, but is he this level?
Yeah, not necessarily. No, I don't think so. And
Yeah.
he starts every single game for Belgium, so that's about the level of the defense. So yeah, Turkey
Correct.
winning against Belgium, I could absolutely see that for sure.
Yeah, next one is for me Spain versus Colombia, and I think Spain will go through it like nearly every other round. So first of all, Spain will win this one. Then we have Korea versus Morocco. So for me, if you say Morocco will win versus Germany, I will say, of course, Morocco will win versus South Korea. And I have the biggest game of this round of 16, the most feared for the German ones, is Germany versus France. And I don't see Germany winning it, and that's what I wanted to come back to, because as you say, that Morocco could be the winning team versus Germany. If Germany has one weakness, I would say one bigger weakness in the squad are the fullback positions. So we have Joshua Kimmich, who isn't the fastest player on earth on the right back, and we have like, I don't know who's playing left back. Sometimes he's playing like
It's
a
Brown, right?
center back. Yeah, it could be Brown, but he was really off yesterday.
Okay.
Wasn't his best game, I think. Sometimes Julian Nagelsmann tends to do it like Eddie Howe and plays like someone like Byrne on the left back. So maybe it could be like Nico Schlotterbeck playing on the left back, and then we shape from a 4-back formation with Kimmich pushing up the field or going into the midfield, in the center midfield. So we could form maybe a 3-back formation. But you have, I could look at the France team. They have most of their bench players would start in any other national team
Absolutely.
in their starting 11. And they have so incredibly fast and well, or not even fast. If we like Michael Olise, he's not the fastest, but well paced, and all these
Mhm.
all these players on the wings. I think they will play some knots into Joshua Kimmich's legs if
That
they
might,
want
yeah,
to.
yeah, that might very much be
And
the case.
in no life I can see Germany win this, but
Mm,
for me France will go through, and the German summer dream will end
mm.
in the round of 16 with a big banger game.
Yeah, it would be a big game. Is that the last round of 16 game you had?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it was the first, but I started on the
Yeah.
bottom. So
Yeah. All right. Yeah, very interesting indeed. All right, let's then move on straight to the quarterfinals, I suppose. Those are just 4 games, and it is your turn to get us started with those 4 games.
I think I have really nice fixtures. So
Okay.
I won't state that my prediction will be here the best of the world, but I have really nice games in the quarterfinal. So
All
first
right,
of
let
all,
me
we're
hear it.
starting off with France versus Morocco.
Ooh, okay, that is
Really nice
clanger
fixture, I
to
think.
begin with.
Yeah, I think France will go through this
Mm,
as well, but it could be a really close call.
yeah.
Um, because Morocco will be, like you said, they have to prove something maybe to be
Mm-hmm.
because they aren't the real winners, like you said, for many people
Mm-hmm.
of the AFCON, and I think they want to prove themselves and prove all the others. Um, but yeah, you can say it in every round. France has such a well-rounded squad. Didier Deschamps may be one of the biggest weaknesses, but they have. I don't see them going out in the quarterfinal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the second game isn't any is not worse than the first one. It's Spain versus Turkey.
Ooh, ooh,
Also really interesting. Two very
ooh,
passionate teams,
yeah.
very high technically
I
for
also
Spain, and
think
also
there is a
like
large Turkish population in Spain. Am I right in saying that?
yeah, could be. Yeah,
I
I think
think
so.
maybe I'm making that up, but I mean, I think
Yeah,
that
I
is the
think
case
it's
either
not
way.
that big like it is maybe in Germany,
Hmm.
but they are like from the climate, it would be a nice spot
Yeah.
for them to live. And anyways, there is you have with Spain, you have these highly talented players, but also with Turkey, you would assume Turkey not with really. If you ask someone who hasn't any knowledge about football, he wouldn't say that Turkey has a really young, talented, and yeah, like team of that.
Hmm.
But if you like the names we talked about further before, so like Arda Güler, he's one of the most talented midfielders, and Kenan Yildiz, for example, and so on. It could be a really nice game of two really young teams.
Hmm.
Um, but I think Spain will do it in the end, maybe even in extra time. But
Hmm.
I think that the Turkish people have to go out in the quarterfinal,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Okay. I mean, I think they
It
take
would be
it.
a nice surprise if they go through and
Yeah, absolutely.
see them in the semifinal.
And your other
But I think
two
then,
quarterfinal fixtures?
yeah, I have two left, yeah.
Yeah.
So another one is the next banger. So, like I said, I have
Ooh.
really banger quarterfinal.
Okay.
It's Brazil versus England.
Oh. Whew. That is indeed a banger. Damn, what a game.
So for me, Brazil went further than for you, but I think it will be the end, and
Mm.
England will be knocking out Brazil in
Mm-hmm.
this game, but also a really nice game. And the last one, I think it's the
The
worst game
cream
is,
of the
is the
crop.
wrong. Yeah, no, it's not. It's the worst of those 4 games. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't really know how to express myself better, but it is Argentina versus Portugal. It's not it's interesting as well as all the other games, but it's not that
I
banger
mean,
like England.
I think that game could be decisive when it comes to the narrative in football discussions for the next 15 years. Because if Portugal was to win that game against Argentina, the Ronaldo fandom against the Messi fandom, or the other way around. If Argentina beat Portugal, the Messi fandom against the Ronaldo fandom, and I just
Yeah,
hate that
I
debate
didn't.
so much.
Yeah, I didn't made up the fact that it is Messi versus Ronaldo if you
Yeah,
break it down.
and it's the first
Yeah,
ever time they
so
would
it maybe
face one
it's
another
another
in the World
fourth.
Cup.
It's maybe it's the fourth banger game
Yeah,
in this
absolutely, it is.
quarterfinal. Yeah.
It is. I mean,
So
I have the
for
same.
me,
I would have
Portugal
the
goes
same if
through.
I said Portugal beat Switzerland, but I didn't. I said Switzerland won, so I denied the world at the final opportunity to that
Yeah, yeah.
particular
And
game.
in the bottom of the bracket, we are nearly the same because we had those two groups going through the same.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
That's
You're
why
right.
we were. So we have Portugal, Ghana, and then you said
Mm,
also Portugal, and then Switzerland. But yeah, Argentina, Portugal. I see Portugal winning that. If I'm right, that with my theory that
mm-hmm.
Cristiano Ronaldo takes all the media and leaves them on
Sure.
all the others with free heads and free minds.
Mm-hmm. So you have
But
Portugal
it's
go
like
to the
every other
semis.
quarterfinal, it's nearly a 50-50 game.
Absolutely, absolutely. Pretty much every game is from this point onwards. All right, so very, very interesting shouts indeed. My quarterfinals start with France versus the Netherlands, so that's also a pretty fun game.
Yeah.
I do, however, think France have enough. I think they're one of the only teams to actually possess an attacking unit capable of completely dismantling any defense in the world. So, other the fact that other than defense, the Netherlands don't have that much means I will back France. My next game is Spain against Norway. Now, that would be a game I'd be very much looking forward to as well. But I will give that one to Spain. Yeah. I have given it to Spain. I was just reconsidering it for a quick second because I do actually think Norway have a chance against Spain. But the fact that they haven't made many major tournaments prior means I think this might get on their nerves might show a little bit, and Spain could just go through to the semifinals. Then I have Morocco playing England. Now I I have put England through, but this could be a very, very annoying game for England. Very annoying. I think Morocco might genuinely take it all the way because I also think the way Tuchel wants to play football isn't necessarily going to suit what you need to do to beat this Morocco team. Um, to be a little bit more specific when saying that I think Tuchel wants to be very fluid. I think he wants his players to take up different positions at different points in the game. I think Morocco is more athletic than this England team and is going to be more suited to the climate there in America. So they will just be able to outrun England. So they might struggle there really. But I do have gone for the quality I have gone for the quality of England to prevail in this fixture. And my last fixture is Argentina facing Switzerland, meaning I do have Argentina to go through and finally end this fairy tale run of Switzerland in the quarterfinals. Meaning, my two semi-final games are France against Spain and
Same for me.
England against Argentina. If you would have let Argentina win against Portugal, we would have had the same semifinals, which is quite insane if you think
Yeah,
of how different our tournaments have gone.
definitely. Yeah, it's in the end you have always done. You have in the groups you have so many
Mm,
opportunities or so many choices, but in the round of 32 and round of 16, you often have these top teams versus the maybe third places
mm,
teams, and then most of us choose the same teams like England, Brazil, Mexico, Germany, and so on going through.
mm.
And so there's no wonder that we have at least one game the same in the
Yeah,
semifinals.
exactly.
Um,
So your
yeah,
semifinals
I don't know
are
if you want to give your first opportunity for opinion for France versus Spain.
okay, yeah, sure. So for France against Spain, this is probably, along with England, the three favorites to win the entire thing. I think France simply have the best squad in this entire tournament, but they also have worst manager of the three, in my opinion. I'm glad that
Yeah.
Deschamps is finally leaving France, although saying that, are we glad? Because this might mean France finally start actually winning loads of silverware. Um, but I also think the fact that they do play such negative football, the fact that he will most likely start that game against Spain with a midfield consisting of Rabiot, Kone, and Kante, means I'm actually going for a 1-0 France win. France to reach the World Cup final and knock out Spain. How about you? How have you let this fixture play out?
For me, France versus Spain is normally it should be the final for me. If I have to choose just the two best teams, don't regarding the bracket, I would say the final should be France versus Spain. It could be the both best teams in this whole tournament for me on the paper. Um, and I would agree with all what you said regarding this fixture. I think France will go through it, but it's like a 50-50 game. It's every time a 50-50 game in the semifinals, and all those teams in the quarter semifinals aren't there for no reason. So I think France can go through this with a, yeah, not with a big win, but with, like I said, 1-0 maybe, or even like an. I also could imagine it's a game where no one wants to risk anything, or yeah, like
Yeah, I can see
Deschamps
that too.
always playing like a bit weird football, and they have these weaknesses in their midfield a little bit. If you search for some weaknesses in the France squad, um, Spain also depends on some players like Lamine Yamal staying fit, and I think France will go through it, maybe even in extra time or penalties. But I think they will go through to the final.
All right, fantastic. So we do have one finalist in common. The other semi-final for me is England-Argentina, and for you it is England versus Portugal. How would you see
Correct.
England-Portugal going?
I would say England will go through there.
Mm-hmm.
I also agree with your statement that the top three teams are France, Spain, and England.
Mm-hmm.
I will be in common with that, and I think England could manage to go to through to the final.
All right. So that means we both have the very same final. France against England in the 2026 World Cup
You say
final.
England will win versus Argentina?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I say England win against Argentina as well. It's good that you
Yeah.
mentioned that because otherwise I would have forgotten it. I mean, I think this is probably further than I would have previously thought I'd put Argentina, but they do have a favorable run towards that final. But I think England's squad is better. I think Thomas Tuchel is the very best coach at this tournament. Yeah, I genuinely believe that. Um, this Argentina team still have called up players like Rodrigo de Paul, for example, who is mostly Messi's bodyguard, even still out at Inter Miami. And yes, England have called up players like Jordan Henderson as well, but the difference being I don't necessarily see Jordan Henderson play minutes, especially not when it's the knockouts. Rodrigo de Paul might for Argentina. Argentina might bench players like Ezequiel Palacios, Nico Paz to start De Paul, and that is why very interesting to me. A Belgian journalist said that maybe teams should actually consider that if you win a World Cup with an older team, you have to be forced to sack your manager because otherwise 4 years on he will still be loyal to those players he won the World Cup with, even though they were already old back then and are still 4 years older now. I could see some logic in there, but it would be very harsh to get sacked if you win something. But yeah, I did put England in the final over Argentina as well. So tell me, France England, who are you saying wins the 2026 World Cup for you?
Yeah, I feel a little bit dumb if I always say it's 50-50 and it's all both have chances to win. I have to take someone, and I have taken against my heart, I have taken France. I would love to see England winning the World Cup,
Yeah.
but I think in the end, in the long run, France, they always have they have their anger in them from they need to the revenge from the final versus Argentina
Mm-hmm.
in the Emirates. Um, and I think France in the matchup versus England, it's a close call.
Mm-hmm.
But I think France has the overall better team and the overall more consistent of a run to win this thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
It's
yeah, they
against the heart,
definitely
but I
have
have
the
to.
experience and the squad depth to win it for sure.
Yeah, yeah. You
But
have
I,
you have to admit, or you have to take into account that it's really a long run. About how long
Mhm.
is the World Cup from the beginning? 6 weeks,
Yeah, it
like
is. It
something
is a
like
little
that.
over
Four
a
weeks.
month. Yeah.
Yeah, so 4 or 5 weeks maybe, and maybe you have players that get injured. You have players that are fatigued. You have
Mm-hmm.
to take into consideration so many valuables. So, and I think France with their squad depth, they can take all these hurdles the best, and they have the fittest and largest squad
Mm-hmm.
to win a World Cup final
Yeah.
over maybe 120 minutes.
Mm-hmm. All right. I am predicting this to be a very tight game for England to not only go 1-0 up, but 2-0 up, but to give away that 2-0 lead, to draw 2-all. It goes all the way to penalties, and I believe that England win the World Cup on penalties. I'm going to call it England win the World Cup in
They break
2026.
they break the penalty curse, you said?
Yes, after 60 years of hurt, the World Cup is finally. I'm not going to say the sentence because that always curses the England national
Yeah,
team, so I'm not going to say the specific sentence, but 2026 World Cup champions, England, that is my prediction. I think if it goes to penalties, England have a very big opportunity because we do have penalty takers like Harry Kane, who might not be on the pitch anymore at that point, but you still have players like Ivan Toney, who I've said this for years. I was saying this at the Euros as well. I do firmly believe there is not a single better penalty taker in world football at this moment in time than Ivan Toney. I firmly believe that. The fact that when he takes his penalty, he does not look at the ball once. That is a very dangerous technique unless you have that technique down to a T. And if you do, like he does, it just gives you an extra second or two or even three to see what way the opponent's goalie is moving. So that just makes it so much easier to just bury your penalty. And England do have other great penalty takers as well. So that's why I'm calling it penalty shootout England world champions.
would be amazing to see. I would love to see that.
I would love to see it as well. Absolutely. For second trophy even, not just second time world champions, but first time in 60 years as well.
Yeah,
I would be
definitely.
absolutely loving this. Is there anything else you would like to add to these predictions?
Now we could talk days about all the teams and the opportunities and possibilities and what could happen here and what could happen there. I think we both gave our predictions for you guys, and let's see. We will talk about that in maybe 4 or 5, 6 weeks
Exactly.
um, after the World Cup and see if we failed completely or if we got at least maybe one group or two right.
Yeah.
And who was the better predictor for this tournament or this World Cup?
I am looking forward to it very much so. Jay, I want to thank you for making the time for me to do these World Cup predictions, and I want to thank
Always
everybody
again.
else at home for listening or watching this video. If you listen to this on Spotify, please make sure to give us a 5-star review, and if you watch this on YouTube, please make sure to like, subscribe, give us a comment down below because that always helps us in the algorithm. Share us with your friends and head on over to Magpie 24/7 on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You know the drill. We'll see you in the next one.